Scandinavian Bob here, hi. Today I'm going to share a ridiculously simple NoFap trick. And if you make a daily habit out of doing this, I can guarantee that it will drastically reduce your relapse frequencies. But you have to create a routine out of it, so it does take a bit of effort in the beginning. So it is simple, but it's still not totally easy, one of those. And the habit is to simply take 5 minutes out of your day, somewhere between noon and 4 p.m. to sit down for yourself without any people around you and without any distractions, and remind yourself of why it's important for you to do NoFap. Now, this is so simple, yet it is one of the most effective things you can do, because listen to this, even if we set goals for ourselves and even if we write things down, we people tend to forget. That's just human nature, and many of us do not really want to accept that fact, and that's kind of understandable because, well, it's frightening how incredibly fast we forget. And now, before you start jumping up and down shouting, "This is not true, I do remember," well, understand that I do not mean forget as in totally forget it, but I mean that we forget the strong emotion associated with our goals and that we forget the core meaning of it. And this can happen fast, within just a couple of days after you set a goal for yourself or after your last relapse, whatever it is. But if you make a habit out of taking 5 minutes every single day to sit down and remind yourself of why staying strong is important to you, then obviously you will imprint it into your brain, and then it becomes a lot easier to stay strong. Now here's the deal. This is especially true during stressful days, because did you know that unfortunately stress dials down the function of your prefrontal cortex? Yes, and as you know by now, the PFC is the part of your brain that is responsible for self-control. This means that the more stressed you are, the easier it becomes to go on autopilot and fall for all kinds of different temptations, including relapses. In fact, so much so that some experts say dopamine plus stress equals addiction. Wow, yeah. And also, when your PFC dials down, the memory of why NoFap is important to you also quickly pales. However, not if you make a 5-minute daily habit out of constantly reprogramming it into your mind. Now, it does not matter if you are in school or at work, you can always take a 5-minute bathroom break, so there are literally no excuses. And the reason why I recommend you do it somewhere between noon and 4 p.m. is because most people relapse in the evening or at night. Let me ask you this. Have you ever started your day with good intentions? Like, today I'm going to be healthy and good. But then somewhere around 5 or 6 p.m. something happens and you go and buy a few beers anyway. Or you relapse to adult sites. Well, there you go. As I said, we tend to forget, and especially when the everyday stress comes into play. Now, obviously, you can modify this time frame so it suits your day the best, and you can also do it several times a day. In fact, the more the better, but I wanted to give you this tip in the simplest possible form so you would have no excuses. But again, more is actually better, and this is also why I personally journal both in the morning and before I go to bed, to help me keep my brain on track. Constant reminding our brains of why we do the things we want to do is such a valuable thing to do, because it keeps us on track, and if we do it on a daily basis, it almost becomes like a mental GPS system that gives you a strong warning whenever you're about to drift and go off course, and the alarm goes, "Hey, back on track. Warning, you are now starting to drift in the wrong direction. Back on track. Back on track." Yeah, so try this out for at least 30 days and then get back to me on how it worked, because I want to hear how you are doing. And also, I would like you to take a look at a video right now about some special relapse signs that you need to be aware of. Anytime you experience some of these signs, you are in danger of a relapse and you need to discover what they are. You can see that video on the screen right here. Just click on that and it'll take you there. Alright, this is Scandinavian Bob signing out for today. And as always, I wish you all the best in your journey to become the strongest version of yourself. And remember, if you're going through hell, keep going.